In this lesson, we're going to address some basic guidelines for planning your shows. Keep in mind that every school is different and things change, so sometimes you'll have to make adjustments as you go along that work for you and your school. As you plan your show, keep in mind that timing is everything and everything is timing. It's a good idea to watch our Logistics of Decision Making video on the Concert Ideas YouTube channel after you're done watching this one. It'll give you tips to keep your communication and decision making process quick and streamlined. What we're about to go over is an example of an ideal schedule. Every school is different, so you can adjust accordingly, but this will give you a good idea of when to do what. If you're planning a spring show for your campus, especially if it's a major event, you want to give yourself enough time to thoroughly navigate each step of the planning process. It's never too early to plan. It can, however, be too early to start contacting bands and sending offers. But getting all of your information and plans together well in advance is never a bad idea. So when should you start? You can start talking about your spring show shortly after you get back to school in the fall. Once October rolls around, you should have a good idea of what type of acts you'd like to go after and maybe even have a wish list together. Finalize your date or dates, confirm your facility, and make sure there are no restrictions on your usage of the space. Finding out there's an intramural basketball game in the gym at 2 p.m. on the day of your concert can be quite problematic, as you can imagine. Keeping in contact with us at Concert Ideas can help you keep a realistic picture of who will be touring and available to play colleges come springtime, as well as who will fall within your budget. Once your offer is in, there's a bit of a waiting game. If your offer is passed on, meaning the band turns it down for one reason or another, you can go back to that wish list of 4 to 5 other acts that you'd like to have. Never come up with just one idea, but once you get an offer confirmed, you can start moving forward on all the details. Immediately after the offer is confirmed, you're free to announce your show. Have your marketing plans ready to go so you can hit the ground running and tell everybody about the show, especially if you need to sell tickets. Most acts don't require a signed contract before you can start advertising the show, so there's no need to wait as soon as the show is confirmed. If your school or the particular act does require signed contracts before you announce, then you need to plan ahead for this. Also, at the time your offer is confirmed, you should be nailing down a production company. If you need to, you can do a bit of shopping around and get bids, but you should decide which production company you should use shortly after the act confirms the show. Now let's talk about what you do between the time the act confirms the show and your show date. Your job now is to tell everyone about the show. We'll address marketing in the next video in this series, so look for that on the Concert Ideas YouTube channel. However, it's important to note that most shows don't need to be advertised for more than 6 weeks. There's no evidence to show that advertising for any longer than that period of time is more effective. The same goes for having tickets on sale. So let's fast forward to about 3 to 4 weeks before your show. At this point, it's time to do what is called in the concert industry advancing the show. Advancing is the process of collecting, fine-tuning, and sharing information to make sure everyone has the same accurate info. Concert Ideas will typically help you with your advance. Ultimately, you want all parties involved in the day of show production to be on the same page. For example, you need to make sure the tour manager, the production team, the venue operations people, and your concert committee know exactly what time sound check is. If everyone has different information, it will create frustrating situations for everyone on your show day, which ultimately leads to stress for all parties involved. Not good. All this planning, information gathering, and sharing should continue right up to your event date. Ideally, however, at that 2 weeks out point, you'll be done and the show will be fully advanced. The team here at Concert Ideas will help fill in the blanks and answer any questions you may still have. At this point, with your advance complete, you'll be able to plan the other details of your show day. Are you providing ground transportation for the artist? Now you'll know what time to pick them up. Do you have to do hospitality shopping? Now you'll know how many towels and bottles of water to buy. For a fall show, you can roughly follow the timeline of a spring show, though you'll be using different points on the calendar as your benchmarks, obviously. When planning a show for September or October, you'll probably want to decide who or what you want, what your budget is going to be, and what dates you have available for the fall by the end of the previous school year. If you have your desired act selected and are ready to submit your offer by the 4th of July at the latest, you'll be in good shape. A week out from your show, double check that the venue and their operations staff is set, reconfirm all your volunteers. Make sure any remaining loose ends at this point are addressed. Now it's your show day, and because you've done a great job of planning and buttoning up all the details, you'll be fully prepared to deal with any issues that come up, making for a smooth day where everybody's happy. After your show, take a day off, let things settle for a day, and then reflect and assess. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? What could you improve upon for your next show? What systems can you implement to streamline the entire process? Brainstorm, discuss, and write things down for next year. In closing, things happen earlier and earlier each year, largely because the internet makes information much more easily available. Your procedures need to be updated to adjust for the changing marketplace. Make sure procedure doesn't trump results. Don't let your procedures get in the way of working on a timeline that gives you the greatest amount of options.